Thank you guys for joining me for another episode of Keeping It Real with America's Supermom. I am excited to have my next guest. We actually got acquainted, yes, again on Clubhouse. I tell you, that's where I meet so many great people. But I met him in Breakfast with Champions with Glenn Lundy and the whole crew there with all the information and insights that they share on a daily basis, Monday through Friday on Clubhouse with Breakfast of Champions. So I'm really excited to have Ramon here today. He has some great content, insights, so much about making yourself better, improving your business. I don't know. I mean, I could just keep it on so much more. But before we get into some of those topics, I want to yield the mic to him so he could tell us a little bit about himself.
It's funny you mentioned Clubhouse, and thank you for having me so much, Lachelle. That when you said before we get started, I thought you were going to say before we get started, you know what we have to do? We have to get our bodies moving, like Glenn does. I'm like,
Oh,
wait a
yeah.
minute. But no, I listen. I love serving the needs of small business owners. I started 4 companies, sold 2 companies, authored many books, and we work with very, very, very large brands who are looking to serve very, very, very small businesses, and that's what I do. And I'm here to help anyone I can, especially in the areas of marketing, being the celebrity CEO of their business, and I'm starting and growing, or whatever it may be. And yeah, I'm talking to America's Supermom. So what an honor.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. And you've mentioned some great things, when we're dealing with small businesses. And right now, a lot of people are kind of reinventing themselves because of the pandemic and things just not being like they used to. So I guess my first question is, how did you hear about Breakfast with Champions? Had you always been a follower of Glenn's and, how that even got started?
Sure, a fellow entrepreneur who I've known for many, many years. I knew him way prior to Clubhouse. He was going to have an event happen, and that event had some challenges. And through some mutual acquaintances, in stepped Glenn Lundy, and we got together with his platform and others, and we all got together in New York and had a in-person event called Breakfast with Champions. And I didn't even know about the Clubhouse part of it so much, but that led to us now being more together on Clubhouse. Since January, he's been on Clubhouse Live every morning. I wasn't a part of the January, but for the last few months, I've been a part of it. So that's how I got to know Glenn and Clubhouse, and of course, got to meet America's Supermom.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, so, this is just a great segue when we talk about leveraging our connections and network and, how you knew him prior to and how it has led to your situation and involvement with him now on Clubhouse. What tips can you give people when it comes to their businesses on how they can leverage themselves? A lot of people have this gloom and doom type of mindset right now because things aren't what they used to be. But what are some ways that they can kind of dig in a little deeper and leverage, what they currently have in a position to help them to move forward with a lot of the changes in their different industries?
Sure. I think there's 3 types of situations I can talk about. I think when people are wildly, wildly successful, it's easy to be positive. You have a belly full of food, a pocket full of money, and a house full of clothes. When you're in that third segment, really despondent and very, very poor, or very, very sick, or racked with pain and misery, really all you can think about and should think about is eliminating that problem right then for the moment, unless it's something long term. But really taking care of the need. The plane's crashing. Mindset, yeah, but you need to stop the plane from crashing. But this third level that many of us are in, today it's not good, but the next 4 days is great. So I would
Mhm.
think that prioritize what's happening. How bad is the situation? 2, think of what's happened in the past and how the past can affect what's happening now. 3, understand that there's going to be a tomorrow. There's going to be a better day, and etc. So I think thinking of those few things, having that mindset of knowing, okay, here's the cards that are dealt with me right now. What can I do with these cards? Who else can I leverage to be a part of that solution? Those are a few things that I can think of because, yes, sometimes life throws us a punch, but you take that punch, suck it in, and move on. So it's easier said than done. But I can give an example. You have the red cup here, right? My cup splashes and breaks, and coffee gets all over me. Nothing I can do about it. So I may
Right.
be a bit uncomfortable, but at some point I'll change, or buy a new cup, or tape it up, or glue it up, if that makes sense. A silly example I'm giving, but you have to have the mindset indeed to move forward, to progress, and not stay where you are, because staying where you are is really going backwards.
I love that. That is so good. And I totally agree with that. So finding out what you can and can't control and bringing your A game, when you can, showing up. That's just my little way of paraphrasing that. That's what I got out of it. Now, you said that, you help people to be celebrities of their own brand. What are some ways that we can kind of accomplish that? That maybe some things that we just don't recognize we have the ability to do when it comes to positioning ourselves in the industry or just on social media and things of that
Sure.
nature.
Absolutely. So first, let's set what it means to be the celebrity CEO. What does that mean?
Mhm.
And by that, it means having a strong personal brand, starting or growing one. And I think it means two key principles. One, to build a community of fans, which you nurture till they buy from you. That's the essence of that. Two,
Mhm.
ask for a smile before you ask for a sale to build that know, like, and trust factor. My friend John Jantz of Duct Tape Marketing says that quite a bit. I've learned that from him. So that's one aspect. So how do you do this? There's a few, that's the principles. There's a few
Mhm.
tools or tactics you can do that go with that. And in short, some of it is don't roll your eyes, anybody. It's using social media. That relentless, continuous aspect of adding value, solving America's supermom problem, adding, making
Mhm.
her laugh or whatever she wants, getting her to want to, let me check out Ramon again and again and again. Eventually, if she's the right, if I'm serving what she needs, she's going to buy from me. So social media, having a book, I think that's important. What you're doing today, having some show, podcast, something consistent that's yours, your own. This is my thing. Not only like Ramon's on your platform, but I have my own. So I think doing that.
Mhm.
A book is important. A book adds credibility, authenticity. Having your own event. So these are a few tactics you can do, and doing all these together in the right way build up your credibility, build up your influence, force you to see me all the time, building the community of fans, and eventually you'll buy from me. So that's a very short nugget of what it means to be the celebrity CEO of your industry.
I love that. And, so often books are something that we tell a lot of people to participate in.
Sure.
And so many people are like, I don't know what I can write about. Who am I to write a book? We just kind of have these misconceptions of the content
Mm,
and the value that we provide. So, what are some ways that people can kind of hone in to determine what they would write a book about?
sure. I think a couple things I would say. What does a book do? I think that's important. One, it's an occasion to get publicity. Most of the time, you're not going to make a lot of money or hardly any money on the book sales itself. Having said that, if you want the book to have any chance of success or to make an impact, you definitely should focus on the marketing of the book well before the book is even written or done. So, how will the book be shared? I think point three is to ask, as far if you're talking transactionally, that you wanted to take action in some way, get more clients, what's the biggest problem that the people I want to have a more relationship with, what's the biggest problem they have? How can I solve that? And write your book about that. You open new daycare somewhere USA. Okay. I need to get new clients. It's a silly example because you should do other things if you're trying to get people into your daycare, but follow me here. So
I
you're
used
opening
to have
a
a
daycare
daycare, so
business.
it works good.
Yes, let me write a book. 99 ways to get your toddler from teething or have him teeth better, or
Mhm,
75 ways to change diapers better, or how to raise the best kid. My point is, the daycare owner may want to have a book, PDF, guide, whatever, some asset on that. Hey, parents in the area, you need this to solve your problem. Now that
mhm.
I've nurtured you, by the way, if you're looking for solutions for your child, you can check out us down the block. So that's a silly example, but if you're thinking of a title and what the book should be about, what's the biggest problem that people who you want to impact or reach, what's the biggest problem they have?
I love that because I think, we spend so much time trying to educate our audience or prove to them what we know
Mm,
rather than putting it in a format that they can really pick up and utilize in their life to help them make better choices to be their own hero in the situation. So I think
absolutely.
that is a great thing to bring up.
And we all want
Now,
to be heroes.
yeah, so true. And I think that's what a lot of people miss because, talk to somebody who may be watching about, you have your own story. You've been a hero, you've overcome some lesson, you do solve a problem. And I think a lot of times some people miss the connection piece
Mm,
with being able to really educate the in person about what problem they solve. There's this kind of miscommunication. Either you're talking in language that they don't understand because you are solution oriented. I mean, to me, I would liken it to you go to the doctor, you have symptoms, and they're talking to you in this medical terminology, and you're like, I don't know what you're talking about.
That's right.
You have the ability of solving the problem, but there's a disconnect with the language, the communication.
That's right.
So, what are some things that we do that kind of messes us up with that we need to
Yeah.
work on fixing?
I think part of it is being selfish. We think of just ourself and not the other person. We're so focused on my
Mm,
need, my need, my need. What did America's Supermom say? So I think selfishness is part of the big thing. I think we don't focus, since we're selfish and scared that we won't make the sale or make the connection, we miss the other gem, just the relationship building, which is part of it as well. And I think
mhm,
point three, once we're listening, understand their need, now we will be able to craft our message and our need to fit their need, and then magic happens. But I think sometimes we're so quick we forget to just enjoy the journey, just to let seeds bloom and blossom, and saying yes more often. We're so focused on the detail of exactly how it may work. So I think those are some things we can do as we're looking to listen to people and add more value, develop more relationships. I think as listening is probably one. And then yes, we do have needs. We want to make sure we're fed. But imagine being in a world where everybody was feeding each other. Nobody's
mhm,
not being fed. Everybody's feeding each other. Problem
mhm,
solved.
mhm. I love that. That's good stuff. Now, and I love the thing about listening. I tell that to my clients so much. So, what are some ways that they can begin to start active listening? Because
Yeah.
I think there is a difference. We can say, oh, yeah, I already know what they're going to say. You know what I mean? Oh, this person has this problem. But how do you actively listen so that you can craft that message?
Here's one tip I got from my friend Adrienne Miller, and it's not her original tip. She got it from somebody else who probably got it from somebody else who got it from somebody else. Some
It's
probably back in
working.
the
Okay. The
yes.
telephone is working.
And I'm saying a modified version of this
Okay.
is before I answer, let me first think and speak. How can I uplift that other person, add value to what they
Mhm.
said? That's probably one thing. So, and this is a silly example, but we're in a meeting and telling stories. And I've done this many, many times and laughing and Thanksgiving, whatever. I can't wait for America's Supermom to shut up, get done with her story, stop telling me about her mama or her brother, where she went. So I can say, I went there too. I went, here's my vacation. Why don't I listen to what she's doing and say, oh, ask a follow-up question. So my point, what I'm trying to
Mhm.
say is, yes, get in what I'm saying. Let me first say, so how was it? Or how is she? Or where did you go? Or tell us more. Okay, banter, banter. Now, sure, I'll add in my joke or my story. So I think first pause, uplift, then share.
I love that. That is so good. That's some good stuff right there because I think that's the whole element of making that connection. When you just let somebody talk and then you respond, you don't allow the connection to take place. You kind of miss an opportunity to go even deeper, to where, you feed off of that person's story or, it just can continue the dialogue in a better place. So that's
Absolutely.
some great points to think about. Now, so when it comes to being on Clubhouse, this is like a whole different platform in itself. So many people have the situations where they want to be on stage, they want to share, they want to be more involved and engage other than just listening. So, what are some tips that you could give them to kind of enter in that kind of space in a way that feels comfortable for them, that they can continue to nurture their gifts and skills?
Sure. I think Clubhouse is good for a few things. One, Clubhouse is definitely good for your self education. Oh, there's a session on, how to make red shirts, whatever, silly example. Let me just go and listen to that. Two, it's great to make relationships with other people. Okay, I want to have a relationship with this person. Let me just listen to them. They listen to me. We're in the same room. That relationship will develop. Three, you can get clients and make money off a Clubhouse. Many people do it this way. I add 80, 90% value. I'm able to get on stage. Those who don't know what we're talking about, you can just Google
Mhm.
how to use Clubhouse on smarthustle.com. We have some articles on Smart House, so you can find it elsewhere. The point is, let me get on stage. And then people say, slide into my DMs, meaning direct message me on Instagram or through Clubhouse. And then from there, you talk, maybe set up a discovery call, and maybe you have a new client. So Clubhouse does work for that. I think for me, though, I've used it very strategically. And we've
Mhm.
mentioned, of course, this breakfast with champions room and et cetera. For me, in this case, we're building a media company to serve millions and millions of people across the world. So I think that's one unique way to do it. But I think, listen, if you're a coach or consultant, or you have whatever you're doing, and you find rooms that you can get in and just be a
Mhm.
part of it, add value, add value, add value. Let them hear your voice, speak well, speak short and to the point. You will begin to build a following. People will begin to check you out, and you never know what happened. Either the relationship you want, or the client you want, or the help you need will come. I've met so many new relationships. We're on the interview here, right? From Clubhouse.
Mhm.
So many people have hired a guy who helped me with my Instagram keyword direct messaging, something technical like that. He's from
Mm.
UK. I paid him money to help me with that. So yeah, Clubhouse is, I think, the big difference of that. It's like live podcasting. A lot of Facebook posts are one way and not in real time. They're asynchronous. I think the word is. I think that's the word. But
Mhm.
Clubhouse is synchronous, or I could have it backwards. But Clubhouse is in real time. So when somebody's talking, they're there. They're live, and you can hear their voice and engage kind of in the moment.
I love that. Now, and then, moving into that type of space and thinking about community, as you said that you are able to build a following. So, what are some tips that you can give people when it comes to building that community that you feel needs to be nurtured until you convert them to clients?
Sure. So, what is community? I think that community is already there. Seth Godin says this quite a bit. The community is there. I think we as business owners, our job, what we're trying to do is just bring the community together around us, bring the people
Mhm.
together around us. So, I think the best way to do that is to give them a reason and a clear call to action. Hey, I'm Ramon Ray. I make red cups. All those of you who love red cups, let's meet together, or I want to interview you, or join me on my Twitter account, Clubhouse, whatever it is. And doing that over time, giving people the same message over and 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 over again, they'll begin to hear it and take action. So build community means a call out, get the attention to people of what you're doing, what the community is about, what community you're trying to build, and then give them some tactical way to take action and join. Email list, social media, texting, what have you.
I love that. And, so I love the thing about the message over and over and over and over and over again. Now, when you are someone who has a lot of different irons in the fire, so to speak, your business, like you said, with media, for example, I mean, it doesn't just entail, certain platforms,
Right.
there's so many things you do, but how do you stand out and not overwhelm people with the information of what it is that you do or your expertise in so many different areas? How do you keep that message where it's consistent and it's the same one over and over again, in spite of all the thousands of things that you may be good at?
Well, let me ask you first. Let me ask you a question first. If I came to your home and every morning I went at 4 in the morning, would that annoy you? Would you eventually tell me to stop?
At 4 in the morning? Yes.
Okay. Let's say I did that, and after every time I did that, I left $1,000 in your mailbox. Would you tell me to stop?
No.
You'd be like, you know what, dude? You can go anytime you want, right? So
Right.
that's how I see social media is like. It's getting attention, but oftentimes we get attention and what we're providing is not valuable. But if you're getting attention and
Mm.
it's valuable and it's an asset, people aren't going to want you to stop. So in the case with me, I'm online on multiple platforms several times a day. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Clubhouse. Don't
Mhm.
do much TikTok and just dancing and all that. That's not me. Pinterest, just photos. I probably should get into Pinterest, but it's not me. But I'm on 5 platforms all the time.
Mhm.
It's overwhelming. It's too a lot, but I try every time I'm there to definitely show value. One of my biggest
Mhm.
clients, $1 billion company, I do LinkedIn's. I'm going like this. You can't, the screen is small. Let me do it like this. I do LinkedIn's. I'll hold my phone in the park. She commented, Ramon, I love your LinkedIn's walking in the park giving information. So I don't know if that helps answer, but so to answer it 2 ways. A, do it frequently, but
Mhm.
have value. And if you're doing that, you will rise up. Oh, the other thing, you know what? People are scared of being different. Everybody wants to be the same. Oh, everybody has a red shirt and red cup. Okay, I gotta have one too. No, get a red cup with purple dots on the sucker.
Mhm.
You gotta be different. So that's
Mhm.
another thing that I think people are a little afraid to do.
Yeah. I mean, I that so agree. That's the purple cow thing that kinda comes to mind
Yeah,
with me
Seth
with,
Godin again.
Seth Godin, yeah. So, what are some books or podcasts or something that really you would recommend to people that are starting out or, they wanna, kinda hone in a little bit more on their brand?
Yeah, I think three of my favorite that people should listen to. One is America's Supermom. I think two, America's Supermom. And I think probably the third best one is America's Supermom. Those are three I could think about. But if I had to go seven, if I had to go a bit more, one gift I'll give is I have a list of 10 best books for every small business owner. And if people direct message me on Instagram,
Mhm.
best dash best books, they will get a list. It's right on my site, of some best books. But I'm going to look to my left here. Some of the
Okay.
best books I read are I love Guy Raz's How I Did This. I love Dave Ramsey's Entree Leadership. I love John Lee Dumas's The Common Path to Uncommon Success. I
Mm.
love my friend Marcus Sheridan's book, They Ask You Answer. And I could go on and on. I'll leave one more, of course, my own, The Celebrity CEO. But there's
Oh,
several books that I think, about 10 that I have that I think every small business owner should read. And I have a second shelf of so many that are mindset, personal branding. But if you get a good book on money, Profit First, Mike McCallowitz's
oh,
Profit
yeah, I've
First.
heard about that.
Yes, good book on money, good book on finance, good book on leadership. You'll be all right.
Yeah, that's, great. And so how do you talk somebody through who's watching on letting go of things that you're not good at? Because I think a lot of people feel like, "Oh, I'm starting out, I can't afford this," or, "Nobody's gonna take care of my business like
Yeah.
me," and all this kinda stuff. So what's the best way to begin that process of letting go and, allowing yourself to be duplicatable?
Sure. I think it's the great idea. So one day, the president of the United States was coming to my house for dinner. And I had a choice to hire the best chef in the world. In fact, they gave me a budget to hire 1,000 of the best chefs in the world when the president came to my house for dinner. But I
Mhm.
said, no, I'd rather make it myself with some toast and butter. That's about all I can cook. And so I did that. And the meal was absolutely terrible, terrible, terrible. But I said, after the president left, I said, President, can you come back? And this time I said, you know what? Let me let the 1,000 chefs cook the meal and let me do what I can do. I greeted him at the door because when he came, nobody greeted him at the door because that was what I did best. So that's the best silly example I can give. Sometimes we think we should do everything and do this, that, and the other. We don't do it the best. In fact, when we do it, we fail at it and we're stopping other people from doing what they
Mhm.
can do better. So I think I understand the aspect of letting go or not letting go. I go through that every day in my business. What things should Ramon do? What things should I have somebody else do? It's not easy. But
Mhm.
that's the best thing I can do. When you let go, you let other people do their genius. And I know you think it's the cheapest to do it yourself, whatever, but oftentimes being cheap and saying, let me just do it this way. If you invest a bit more, you can get it done better and faster, and then use that time to do what you do best and take your business to the next level.
I love that. And so, what is your daily routine consist of? Because I think that there are income producing activities. There are things that we have to do on a daily basis in order to continue to propel us forward and that go into the nurturing process
Sure.
with the people that are in our community. So,
Yeah.
what are your daily non negotiables that
Sure. I
you
think two
live by?
things I do, and I split them in half. One is more personal, and one is for my business. Of course, we have
Mhm.
things that we do at family, devotions, and things like this. But personally, I do about 5 activities every day. I wake up and have prayer and Bible reading. I
Mhm.
do 50 push ups and 50 pull ups, drink one or two bottles of water, a bowl of fruit. And that's my daily routine. Of course, you and I and thousands of others listening to Breakfast with Champions in the morning, oftentimes. So, those are 5 things personally I do every morning. My health, my Bible reading and prayer, drinking a few bottles of water if I can, and eating fruit. Just trying to be healthier, for my body. As far as
Mhm.
business, a few key things I do pretty much daily. One, I go through my task list for our whole business. I use Asana for that. That's one. Two, making sure is my team, do they have what they need to fulfill me and our customers? So team. It's not me working it, it's making sure is the team doing what they're doing and how can I support them? And then three, just going through our flywheel. Another book, Jim Collins' Flywheel, has been very good for me, talking about what are the key things you need to do in your business that propel it going forward, forward, forward. So I try to keep on the back of my mind always, and I have written down what's the smart hustle flywheel. What do we need to do our business? So I could go on, but it sounds like a lot. But basically, it's a few key things that I do every day: clients, current, future clients, our money. I do that weekly. And then part of the best thing I can do, not only, but in our small company of 5 people, is the attention and the attraction of the Ramon Ray and Smart Hustle brand. So hence I spend a lot of time serving in communities like this, right?
Mhm.
To serve others, and hopefully they'll see something in me and want to do something with me. So that's my daily routine,
Love that.
oftentimes.
Yeah, I love that. I think so often people get caught up with being busy and not being productive. So I love that you really highlighted those things to help people to move forward because, people say success leaves clues. People watch you, they see certain things, but, a lot of people don't know the questions to ask in
Yeah.
order to get the results, so you can notice what someone does, but, that whole thing of showing up and what does that actually look like? What does it mean? What are some things that you do need to show up for and
Hey,
do?
may I share 2 more things on that? May I?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say also my calendar. That's again a lot. I have a lot of problems. I speak too fast. My spelling's not fast. I need a better father. Need a better husband. So a lot of things I do wrong. And money management is very new for me. So I'm still practicing that. But I think some things I do well is productivity. That's the productivity side. So I will
Mhm.
say 2 other things. My calendar, pretty ninja and pretty proud is a bad word, but pretty proud about how I manage my calendar. So I segment my week. So Mondays and Fridays,
Mhm.
I do certain things. Tuesdays and Thursdays, certain things. Wednesdays, certain things. So I have a calendar which helps me segment that so I can have space. I can sit and watch a
Mhm.
movie for 2 hours right now if I wanted, or go
Mhm.
out. So calendaring is important. Then two, my email. Everybody's different, but I know some people are overwhelmed with email. My email is filtered to the ninja degree. Anything with the word unsubscribe in it, I know it's an email newsletter. I don't even see it. It's filtered to another
Mhm.
place. And on Fridays, I look through my email newsletters. So little hacks like that are
Mhm.
important. I use Star. I star things very well. I have a segment within my inbox just for client projects. So my email, I have a quote unquote zero inbox policy, which helps me as well. My email and my calendar, that's my ninja go-to. My email and calendar is what runs my world.
I love that. Look, it sounds like we need to have you come back and talk about that email stuff because
Sure.
that is definitely can be a game changer for many people. So I love that. I think so often there's a lot of tools when it comes to email, like you said, filtering and things like that, that a lot of people don't realize. We run into this whole story that everybody has. Oh, I just have so many things in my inbox, and we talk so much about the problem more so than really diving into some of the solutions in order to help us to move forward. And the whole thing about the white space in your calendar, that is so important. I dealt with depression in my own life for 13 years. And a lot of that was not having the time or making the time to reflect, to just have time to think and be open for opportunities. So that alone is also a game changer because, having every minute planned and no room to use common sense
Mhm.
can be a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely.
Mhm. So, this has just been a great conversation, Ramon. I'm so glad that we were able to connect. And I think my last question is, what is a good follow-up strategy? A lot of times when it comes to meeting new people, getting them kind of in your network or community or tribe, so to speak, how do you begin to create that opportunity to keep them in your community and
Yeah.
continue to build?
I think there's a few different ways, and it depends if we're talking about direct sales or not. But I found that email is one of the best for me. And I have a
Mhm.
pretty good email list. So I invite people to join my email list and offer them something of value. Once they're in there, people will unsubscribe. But based on the feedback I get, my email as I promised, we educate and inspire small business owners. So every email gets a little bit of me personally. Hey, I did this today, had a fight today, I was sad today, whatever, and people open it and respond to it. So I think the email is the best way for follow up to keep people engaged, keep your face or your brand in front of them. And then
Mm,
two, even social media. I'm on social media quite a bit, just keeping the Ramon Ray brand, the Smart Hustle brand at the forefront of people's minds. And that's a good book of business for our clients coming in to help them. So I think that's one way. Then two, follow. Everybody should have some sort of a marketing automation. People call it CRM, but I would say a small business dashboard. To do
mhm.
that, I use Keep, Keap. There's many out there. That's another thing. People can DM me on Instagram, the word Keep, Keap, and I'll send them some tools on that. But I think everybody needs to have a system, yes, whether it's written down
Mhm.
on paper, but then software to help you scale yourself and automate that. And that's what I do.
Love that. So, I mean, this has just been so informative. I hope people are taking notes. That's one of the things I love about recordings is that I can always go back and take my notes. But what final thoughts would you like to leave everybody with, and then the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, there's so many challenges that small businesses face. And of course, as I said before, leadership is one of the things that are most important. Do you have your purpose, values, mission? Do you have the right team in place? Do you have the mindset for business success? So definitely leadership is important. Understanding your money, your finances, that's important. And then marketing. But I think the one thing I could say is don't give up, keep going, and don't let the fear of uncertainty or risk hold you back. That's one big thing I see, because as small business owners, I had my job at the United Nations. I may be here today, but thankfully I was fired because I was so afraid. I'm only going to leave until I get a million. Only going to leave till I get 100,000. And I
Mhm.
must say, I can't. I'm going to resign. That's scary. But in
Mm,
hindsight, I must tell people, don't let doing things. And actually, my friend Brad Caldwell said it just today. He said, every jump is a risk.
mm,
Every jump is a risk, but you can mitigate if that jump is reckless or not. So you gotta take some
mm.
risk. You got to, but it doesn't mean it has to be a stupid risk. And everybody's risk tolerance will be different. Some people can risk 25,000, some people 100,000, some people whatever. But take some risks. That's my one thing. I
Love
left out
that.
75 things, but feel free to take a risk.
I love that. That is good because, as a lot of people can see that being in the state of the world today, where things were just ripped up from underneath you at no notice, when you can determine what risks you want to take and kind of take control on that, that's a good place to be. And it helps you to navigate when things are done in a way that you don't have control. You're able to kind of get your grounding and establish your own foundation a lot quicker to help you to begin to make sense of everything that's happening around you. So, great, great advice. And just thank you so much for your insight, your wisdom, and nuggets, and everything you shared. Seriously, we do need to have you come back because the whole thing, email alone, I think so many people don't realize one, the value of email. They think that this social media platform, this is all what's happening, being on Clubhouse or Green Room or some of these other things that are happening that are new. And they don't realize the value out of owning their own real estate, so to speak, when it comes to a digital presence with their consumers. So, thank you so much for all of your wisdom and insight.
You're welcome. Pleasure to be here. And thanks for what you do, America Supermom, for all of us, and blessings to your family. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Feel free to reach out to Ramon if you have any questions. Leave some comments. Share this video. It was chock full with so much wisdom and insight and things that really can help you move forward with your business. So I hope you guys were taking notes, but at the same time, it doesn't cost anything to share and provide good content for others who may need the nuggets that he mentioned in the interview. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much for your time. You could have been doing anything, but we are happy that you chose to spend some of your day with us. So, we will see you all on the next episode. Bye for now.